Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Zentraedi themselves as character classes. Just because, sometimes you might be fighting a Zentraedi without being in armor or anything else, or possibly as a Zentraedi might be on your side, or maybe you're playing as a Zentraedi, something that might possibly be a character arc here. So, let's see. Zentradi are going to be a near human species. Attribute dice are going to be a 12, 18 dice for player characters. Dexterity is going to be anywhere from a 2D to a 4D. Knowledge will be anywhere from a 1D plus 1 to a 3D plus 2. Mechanical ranges from a 1D plus 2 to a 4D. Perception ranges from a 1D to a 3D plus 1. And strength ranges from a 2D plus 2 to a 5D plus 2. And technical ranges from a 1D plus 2 to a 4D plus 1. Our movement is going to be an 8 to a 10 for micronized, just the same as the humans, or a 24 to 30 in giant form. They have a size of 1.6 to 2 meters tall, depending on how they are in micronized form, and times 10 that in giant form. Okay, so special skills. None of note. They are much like humans in this regard, since they are, in a way, human themselves. Special abilities. As giants, the Zentradi are giant versions of human beings and therefore count as walker scale in combat or other related situations. Examples: their dodge will count as walker scale against character scale player characters, and their weapons and or if I can keep on track here. All right. Uh, their dodge will count as walker skill against character skill player characters and their weapons. And when they walk or when they try to attack a character, it will be the same difference as a walker trying to swat at a standard character. So you're going to lose, 4D in trying to attack. Um, However, when in combat against walker scale vehicles, enemies, or their vehicles, their stats have no modifiers against these, or the same in reverse. Also, any vehicles they possess would scale up um, as with any other species. Their speeder scale would be normal sized character starfighter scale. Micronization, the Zentradi have been genetically altered from original humans to be giant fighting machines themselves. However, they have both the genetic information and technology to return themselves to a micronized form, becoming character scale like any other human. However, they retain their attributes as they are for being near humans who have evolved differently and or a little altered to be a warrior caste from the ancient past, from the rest of humanity, but now count as a character scale. They can use their technology in reverse to reverse the process, and these devices are freely available to all Zentradi. So, story factors to throw in there. We have a huge write up here. Um, so, please bear with me. Here we go. Ignorance. When it comes to combat, battle, and war, the Zentradi may know more than any common soldier, and maybe even more than some veterans. But when it comes to anything else, they will usually have no idea what's going on, or even how to interact with new ideas or people who act differently from a soldier. As such, any non-combat skill roll are at a -3 D or -3 dice until they get past their culture shock. See culture shock below. Once they get past this, or if one of one is playing these Zentradi already, past their culture shock, their ignorance and culture shock are negated. Um, So the culture shock, the Zentradi have been raised for millennia to know nothing but what is necessary for battle. No skills related to culture and arts, or to know how technology and other things worked and functioned. Or as such, they have any um they can have any combat related skill, but repair skills are mostly non military knowledge skills and are limited. A 1D in any skill only, no specializations unless relates to learning about the enemy, um, or unaccessible to Zentradi until after the first Robotech War slash Space War, when they make peace with the human race of Earth and coexist together to build a new society. Before this, the Zentradi keep both sexes separate as two independent forces who do not communicate, often unless for battle, and even then uh, never know never knew that they could reproduce. Just about any small thing of culture is new to them and either fascinates or uh, uh, disgusts them. Um, if playing as Zentradi from before they encounter and befriend humanity, they must make a willpower check against very difficult for even blatant encounter they have with culture, such as those events with high emotion like singing, kissing, and other such things. If they succeed, they remain themselves and may try to hold on to their strict military training, um, or show curiosity for player's choice. If they fail, they are fascinated by the event and cannot help but watch and stare until the event is over. Kind of like watching a train wreck. You know it's coming, but you just can't turn away, right? Or someone snaps them out of it. Also, when the events occur, they must also make a stamina check against very difficult. Failure means they have been disgusted by what they have just seen, counts as stunned, negative 1D for one round, and probably lose their lunch. Make another check to be sure. If failed, it counts as a wounded for 3D plus 6 rounds until they get away from whatever they saw. If they succeed, they are still unsettled while holding it in. This gets easier with every encounter they have. Lower the difficulty by one every consecutive encounter. When it gets too easy, um, and they get past this, they have gotten past any odd feelings and uneasiness they can choose how they wish to proceed with their discovery of culture and emotions. Some become decent members of society and venturers, such as player characters, and some turn their backs on humanity and culture, even blaming it for any wrongs they feel that they have, um, and may even lash out against humanity and other sentients violently. Such would make great bad guys to encounter. In Robotech, Zentradi in Robotech series were the slaves of the Robotech masters, genetically altered to be their army of spacefaring giant warriors and enforcers of their will. As such, they served them faithfully, albeit ignorantly, until the first Robotech War, when they encountered the human race, began to awaken their long dormant emotions and sense of culture. In the Star Wars universe, Um, the galaxy is big, bigger than big, so big that almost anything can fit in, and there are even places yet to be explored by the Galactic Empire or the old or new republics. There are the unknown regions or wild space on the galactic fringe. The Zentradi could be encountered by the PCs entering known space for the first time ever recorded as in they could have shown up before and destroyed any one they came across before, then disappeared back to wherever they came from. They could be met while hunting down rogue Zentraedi player characters, maybe, or even on the trail of the SDF 1 itself as it crashed somewhere in known space, wherever the reason they have arrived. They aren't happy, and it isn't good. Entire planets could be destroyed before they are stopped, if they can be stopped. Zentradi equipment standard body armor is going to be a +2 physical, +1d, +2 energy, and a -1d dexterity counts as Walker scale armor. The weapons Zentradi melee and range projectile or energy weaponry. Simply take pistols, rifles, and carbines, or whatever the GM has that wishes to give them, and just make it Walker scale. Other equipment for basic gear for Zentradi, they could carry stuff just like most other people, but would be scaled up for their size. If human like gear is needed, multiply the cost or multiply the size times 10. Could vary since weight could be an issue too, and the math isn't coming to me at the moment. So the GM's discretion, aha. Uh, we're scaled up to whatever walker size, and voila, enjoy. So that's from the author himself. Uh, it is a funny concept, just bringing Robotech into Star Wars. Much like I've stated before, there is a ton of room in the galaxy. Now, one thing I will mention, because it is brought up in Wild Space, um, the reason why it's wild is because it's really hard to travel through. Now, one thing was kind of mentioned here in our own galaxy not that long ago. I don't know exactly how long in particular. I heard about it within the last year that the fringe of our galaxy is actually colliding with another galaxy. Now, maybe that's what wild space really comes down to. It is an edge of two different galaxies kind of colliding into each other. So if that is a reality and a possibility, does it not then mean that, either like a Star Trek, the Zentradi, um, Robotech, or BattleTech, or something else may have possibilities lying somewhere within where it's just so hard to navigate through this because as the galaxies are just barely on the fringe and as everything kind of slowly moves, now this takes many years to happen, but it's still there. So um, I'm just leaving that out as a possibility. Now that might be something I would bring into a game, which I would love to get the guys back into. But I know that we've been doing Fallout whenever we get together again. But it is an opportunity for something there. Uh, with that being said, hope you enjoyed this. It's great bringing the Zentradi into all of this. You know, to be able to bring the characters themselves into this, and we'll have to do this with other, like the Star Trek and all that stuff as well. Um, but let me know in the comments, how do you think that would actually work? Because I know I've raised that before, having Zentradi or even Star Trek or whatever being brought in to the Star Wars universe as one big, huge mashup of things. So, with that, thanks for stopping by. It's always wonderful having you here. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.